Braden, a middle-aged man of 45, was the proud owner of a thriving company. A few years back, tragedy struck and he lost his beloved wife, leaving him to raise their son, Cole, all alone. Despite the hardships, Braden managed to raise Cole impeccably. And at 20, the young man was excelling in his studies at a prestigious university and had ventured out to live independently. Roughly 6 months ago, fate smiled upon Braden when he fell deeply in love. The object of his affection was none other than Jasmine, his longtime secretary, who had faithfully served by his side for 5 years. Initially joining the firm as a part-time student, Jasmine eventually became a permanent member of the team. It was only recently that the flames of passion ignited in Braden's heart, and he realized he was ready to embark on a new chapter in his personal life. Having made the decision to propose to Jasmine, Braden felt the time had come to introduce her to his son. Dinner was arranged, with the intention of presenting his bride-to-be to Cole. However, as soon as Cole laid eyes upon this woman beside his father, his face contorted into a grimace of disgust. While Jasmine spoke passionately about her love for Braden and the fated nature of their meeting, Cole couldn't help but utter a rude and negative comment in her direction. The truth of the matter was that during Cole's mother's illness, Jasmine had shown signs of attention towards Braden, slightly catching Cole's eye. Although Braden, consumed by his worries and responsibilities, failed to notice these subtle hints from the young woman, his son had witnessed their interactions firsthand and formed his own unfavorable opinion regarding Jasmine. Braden surmised that despite Cole's maturity, deep down his son harbored resentment towards him for seeking a replacement for their late mother. From that moment on, the relationship between Jasmine and Cole was strained, to say the least. One fine day, the son arrived at his father's place of work in the middle of his university classes. He settled himself down and patiently waited for his father to become available. As he observed the activity around him, a certain gentleman entered the room and approached the secretary inquiring about Braden's availability. To the young secretary's surprise, Jasmine openly flirted with the man, disregarding any hint of professionalism that her position demanded. This interaction lasted only a moment, and Cole initially didn't perceive it due to the music flowing through his headphones. However, as he finally became aware of the situation, he was utterly astonished. "Jasmine, you ought to display more modesty," he abruptly interrupted the lovebirds' conversation. The man promptly stumbled, bid farewell, and departed from the reception area. The woman shot a disgusted glance at the young fellow. "You didn't need to interfere, did you?" she scoffed. Cole retorted, "Well, if you truly desire to become my father's wife, then perhaps I should reconsider whether the sentiments you eloquently expressed during dinner were genuine or merely fabricated. Cole, my dear, if you wish to maintain an amicable relationship with your father as you currently do, you better watch your dirty." Jasmine began to unleash her anger at the young man, just as the door to the boss's office swung open, and Braden appeared at the threshold. Before Cole had the chance to respond, she hastily muttered, "Braden, your son is here." The father warmly greeted his son and invited him into his office. As Cole passed by Jasmine's desk, he shot her an unfriendly glare. The typical father-son chat that day morphed into a debate over whether he should rush into things with his young fiancée. Cole, with his typical youthful black and white view, frankly expressed his opinion, even suggesting she was being unfaithful. However, his father listened with such a demeanor that it was clear he wasn't taking Cole's words to heart. For the next few days, Cole didn't let up, continually hinting that this Jasmine character was rather complicated and probably not as genuine with his father as he was with her. Reaching a certain point, Cole's father had had enough. He firmly mentioned that he didn't need his son's approval to shape his romantic future and declared that he wouldn't discuss it further. Time marched on, and as the months ticked away towards the planned wedding date, Cole slowly came to terms with his inability to sway his father's decision. Also, Jasmine seemed to start acting more appropriately. Cole even made up his mind about what he wanted to gift them for the wedding, though he needed to rake in some funds for it. Determined to earn the cash, he decided to take on a part-time job. His father, appreciating Cole's drive, used his connections to get him a spot at a reputable eatery. Cole toiled there for a month, and then, one afternoon, he unexpectedly spotted Jasmine in the restaurant. To his shock, she wasn't there with his father, but with an older man. He caught the tail end of their rendezvous when he arrived to relieve his colleague. Observing the man discreetly pass the money to Jasmine, she flashed a flirtatious smile before they exited the restaurant, oblivious to his presence. The scene reeked of something fishy, warranting a deeper dive into the matter. Cole pulled a few strings and secured access to the surveillance tapes. As he scrutinized the footage, a storm brewed inside him. There, Jasmine stepped out of a swanky car with this man, who chivalrously opened the door for her and guided her to the front seat. They settled at a table, their conversation flowing like honey, and once the waiter took their order, Jasmine leaned in and kissed the man, her hand gently caressing his arm. Moments later, her hand drifted beneath the table, earning a pleased grin from him. Cole captured the incriminating evidence on his phone, and without wasting a beat, headed to his father's place right after his shift ended. When he reached his father's apartment, he found the door slow to open, revealing his dad in a bathrobe standing at the threshold. "Dad, you need to see this immediately," the son blurted out, stepping inside the apartment. Within moments, he noticed Jasmine sprawled on the couch in the far room, a damp towel draped over her forehead and a blanket cocooning her. "Jasmine's really unwell. Better not disturb her. Let's go to the kitchen. She's been down for the count all day. Couldn't even make it to work," his father whispered softly. "Seriously? Are you absolutely certain?" The son deliberately spoke in a loud tone, ensuring that every word reached the woman's ears. Braden was about to reprimand his son for such insolence, but he intervened by placing his phone in his son's hands and starting the video. "This was earlier today when poor Jasmine was lying here, on the verge of death," the son commented. Just then, the imposter, dragging her feet, entered the kitchen. She wanted to complain about Cole's incessant screams that kept her from sleeping, but upon meeting Braden's gaze, she held her tongue. "Pay attention," Cole directed, as he looked directly at Jasmine. "This man provides for her financially, but draw your own conclusions." The room fell into an intense silence. Jasmine no longer appeared sick and miserable. Instead, fear was etched across her face. "What's happening here, my dear?" she asked, clearly bewildered. "Your expose seems to have enjoyed it. Dining with a prominent partner from my company, and it seems he generously compensates you, doesn't he?" Braden calmly spoke. "My love, what are you implying? I would never." She began to defend herself. "You have 10 minutes to gather your belongings," the man coldly declared. "Hurry up and pack." Cole looked at this deceitful woman with the victorious glare of a conqueror. She noticed his look and, with clenched fists, attempted to throw herself at him, but the guy reacted swiftly, pushing her away. She collided with the wall, hoping for the usual consolation from Braden, but he remained silent. Angered, she stormed off to the bedroom to retrieve her belongings, forcefully closing the door behind her. Braden extended his gratitude to his son, acknowledging his relentless determination and invaluable assistance. He not only evicted Jasmine from his home, but also terminated her employment. Exploiting her position, she became excessively lax in her work. The woman persisted in maintaining ties with her wealthy benefactor, but he eventually redirected his favors towards another girl, leaving Jasmine devoid of financial support. She attempted to secure a prestigious secretary position in a reputable company, only to face rejection. Braden endeavored to make her job hunt more arduous. Transforming from a woman with a well-paying job and a prosperous man, she now found herself unemployed, residing with an unwed friend, and barely managing to make ends meet. Naturally, she continued seeking sponsors, but as the fates of such women often go, they are akin to forgotten playthings that lose their allure over time, easily replaced. Such is life's tale. Share your thoughts on this situation and the characters' behaviors in the comments. And thank you for your attentive listening until the end of the story. Don't forget to subscribe to the Stories For You channel, and be sure to like this video, as it greatly aids in the channel's promotion. All the best.